thing you said about this allowing lots of voices is really sort of what I liked best about, I guess, using Twitter, using social media to cover this, because when you're talking to people on the street, when you're talking to people on the phone, you're limited to like people within your reach, and having all of these voices just in the ether of the internet just gives you access to so many points of view and so many perspectives. For those of you who aren't from Southern California, our Occupy incarnation started like 2 weeks after New York, and they chose City Hall as their encampment, and I was covering City Hall, covering the mayor, covering City Council, and this was like a godsend because it was so much more interesting than like hearings on the privatization of the zoo. So from the very beginning, I used the internet to like understand what was going on and who these people were. At a press conference, there's everybody you need to talk to gathered in one space. At a 24-hour protest, it's much less difficult to figure out like who knows what's going on, who you should be talking to. A lot of the people who were actually like running the protest and organizing it had day jobs or had houses where they slept at night, so they weren't like physically there. They were communicating and like running this thing online, which is what was so unique about it. These things are like actually being born online. To find people on Twitter, finding like the correct hashtag, the one that like people are actually using, is really key. It's like, you can search anything in Twitter and come up with something, but you'll know based on your searches like what are the most used. So here it was like either hashtag Occupy or Occupy L.A. or OLA. And that was just a way not only to identify sources, people who are talking about this, but also ways of figuring out what was going on, even when I couldn't be there, even when I was on another assignment, just to kind of keep tabs, So it's just like, it's not different than traditional reporting, because it's like you check in with your sources regularly, even when there's not like something newsy you're covering, just to like, keep tabs on sort of like what people are talking about, the tone that they're using. Just, sign up for the Occupy L.A. listserv on their website. But what that listserv was like probably 200 email a day string of like their internal conversation briefing. So everything from like responding to certain events, to planning protests, to, what the hell are we going to do with the city? What do we think about these city proposals? All of that. And again, that like gave me sort of like the feel of what was going on, pushed forward the news, and then also like identified sources. So it's like, oh, this person knows what's happening. And that would be like the starting point a lot of times. Then you would go to that person and use that as sort of the way to begin the interview. But it also like broke news. And I don't know why more journalists weren't on this thing. It was kind of like, it was amazing, sort of using that to help break stories. And then, like everything that happened at Occupy, it was posted online. I guess what's significant about that to me is that like the amount of media being generated from this protest was amazing. They were constantly just producing and documenting and, quite frankly, navel-gazing all the time. So it was just sort of like these like tremendous primary source documents all the time.